Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm Monty and this is a Sagittariusshawty reaction. Now, Sagittariusshawty posted a video 2 days ago about her mother and it was extremely emotional, to say the least, where she talked about her mother passing away. Now, when people lose a parent rather suddenly, they can react in a numerous amount of ways. Some people will become introverted and quiet. Some people will do drugs and drink their lives away. Other people lash out, while some just get super emotional at any and every single thing. And for me, just hearing Sagittariusshawty's story, it was sad and it was difficult. So I will give you this trigger warning. Be warned, this is extremely emotional and some of you may be triggered by some of the wording, the emotions, and the story as a whole. So let's just get into it right now.
Okay, so I'm back. I'm actually making all these videos in the same night because it was, I hate when people do this. It was, someone said to me, or a lot of people have been saying, like, not me thinking my phone was ringing.
Must have been a tough time.
That if I'm like going through depression or whatever and I'm gonna have like down days, or if I'm not motivated to make videos, then I should do them in like bulk and then upload them spaced out. And like tonight I actually feel kind of like okay, you know, like I'm showered, freshly showered. I don't know if anyone notices, but my dandruff is like, I got the Selsun Blue dandruff shampoo from Amazon, and then I got a scalp massager to like loosen the flakes, and like I just feel so much better now that I don't have white stuff just dripping on my that was a really bad thing. Okay, so today, or right now, I'm just gonna, a lot of people have been asking about like how my mom passed away, and I never really wanted to share it because I didn't want to, like, I don't know, but I feel like being vulnerable and like sharing stuff that I went through could help someone, hopefully help someone, and hopefully gets like my supporters like a better understanding of me. So I'm just gonna tell the story time, and if I cry, allow me, because it's sad. So basically, when I was 16,
at this point, I'm sure it's super hard for her because she already spoke about an already traumatic experience / experiences before this video. So on top of that, now she's talking about what happened to her mother, and losing a parent can be extremely emotional and difficult. And it is a universal thing when it comes to a human experience, I should say. And while we may understand that the death of our parents is pretty much inevitable in the abstract sense, that foreknowledge doesn't lessen the grief at all when a loved one dies, because it's just that they are a loved one and you care about them. So losing a parent is grief-filled and traumatic and permanently alters children of any age, whether or not you're an adult or whether or not you're young. It just doesn't matter. It is still a traumatic life experience. So people can get changed both biologically and psychologically. This is a fact. Nothing is ever the same again because one or both your parents are gone. The loss of a parent is just a wholly transformative event. So it's going to be difficult for her, even getting the words at this moment, especially having to tell a story before this, is rather extremely difficult.
okay, moms and daughters, or moms and their kids, or parents and their teenagers, like, you know, when you're a teenager, you're like weird, like you're young, you're, especially when you have like BPD and bipolar disorder like I do, then you're kind of all over the place, and your parents probably don't really understand it because, you know, so basically I would get into a lot of trouble. Like, I would do things that like normal kids wouldn't really per se do, but I would like get into fights, or like I would yeah, I would get into fights. I would become violent with like people around me. I would.
So she's saying she had outbursts in a ways, is how I would put it. Like, she had little things going on in her life, and this is the way how she would express it, is what I believe she's trying to tell us.
That's kind of like it, actually. I wasn't actually a really bad kid. It's just like, and I had like behavior issues. Like, I used to like get really angry and like throw fits and like rip out my hair and like just, you know, and like after being sexually assaulted, like I just didn't like to be touched, and like
that's tough. Hard.
I just didn't like to be touched, and I feel like I was kind of like really distant from my mom because, you know, like parents, like when your mom, I don't know if you guys have moms like this that are really like, they love you and like they just want to like, you know, that's how my mom was. Like, she always wanted to hug me, she always wanted to cuddle me when I was like feeling down, she always wanted to like touch my hair, like tell me how pretty I was, like, and I'm like,
that's
please
cute.
don't touch me. And like she would take it the wrong way, and like me acting out of school, I'm gonna do a third time on this after, so I'm not gonna say any details about that. She didn't understand because I'd never told her the whole story. Anyways, like we would have our fights, and I know there's like a lot of like stuff going around about how one of my ex-friends said something about how I'm so miserable today because I treated my mom like shit. That's not true. It was just like one of those mother-daughter relationships where like we were fighting quite a bit, you know.
Let me expand on that. So there's a lot of people who have made a lot of videos about Sagittariusshawty, including myself. I try and remain as neutral as possible, but sometimes that may or may not be the case. I'm just gonna lay it all out there. So there are some times where it can get emotional in my videos. Sometimes it can, you know, lead to anything, but there are tons of videos about Sagittariusshawty out there. There's many reactors, there's many ex-friends who have talked a lot of things about Sagittariusshawty. There's been people in her inner and outer circle that have made videos on Sagittariusshawty. So what she's speaking to is one of those many people. I believe the specific video is from a former friend that was just a friend in and around Christmas, and they had a falling out, and they made a video about anything and everything on Sagittariusshawty.
And like I said, on top of having, like, if you have BPD and bipolar, or like either one, you know how like moody and like just kind of how you can act to things and how you can behave wrong and out of place. Anyways,
yeah,
that's not the point. So
I get that.
when I was 16, no, I was 17. The summer came around, and me and my friend, like, she was basically kind of living with me, and we would just kind of like get turned, go to parties, you know, like normal teenage stuff. I wasn't a big drinker. Like, I would drink when I went out, that's about it, and I didn't really go out that much because I had strict parents who were always grounding me, taking away my phone, like taking away my TV, like they would take off my room door when I didn't clean my room. Like, I had a strict parent.
I would never have known that about Sagittariusshawty by how I see present day reactions with her dad and stuff. Her dad seems really cool and chill. So I personally would have no idea that that was happening with her to her in terms of her appearance.
And you know, like, I always see kids that like used to like steal their parents' car and go on joyrides with it, and like I couldn't even imagine doing that to them because honestly, they were kind of scary when they were mad. But yeah.
Fair enough.
So anyways, that's just like a bit of a backstory. So I was 17 and this is not gonna be a story time, so I will mention this. When I was younger, like really young, like grade like 1 and like maybe even kindergarten, for like a few years we had this babysitter that would like, I don't know if my mind blocked it out or if I just don't remember. I don't really remember what she would do to us or what her kids would do to us or make us do.
Yikes.
All I remember is that I think she ended up getting arrested, and my mom was so
Wow.
pissed off.
I would not have expected that.
About it, that she ended up quitting her job and becoming a home daycare center where she would just have kids that she would babysit like 5 at a time. Like they would the age range would be like from like little like babies to like teenagers, like whatever, whoever needed babysitting, whatever. Anyways, that's just like, so my mom would be an at-home babysitter, and this is why I'm so good with kids. Like people don't know this, but I'm actually really good with kids, because I would help out quite a bit because she made me. But anyway, so yeah, she was like babysitting or whatever, and then she got kind of sick, and like I thought it was just like, you know, like common sickness, like flu, whatever, and I didn't really pay attention because like I didn't think anything of it. And like,
this is gonna be very emotional, trigger warning once again, but I'm gonna have to say this. In the best case scenario, when you're talking about your parents, your mother or your father, losing a parent is typically anticipated, right? It's natural that they would pass away typically before you do. But there's always time for families to prepare, say their goodbyes, and surround themselves with support for the most part. But when that is when it is expected. But when it is unexpected, it could be a day, suddenly, a moment's notice, a few weeks, a few months. That is pretty much unexpected, and it can scar you. It will leave you with long-lasting, if not permanent, trauma. It can also leave you with very emotional. It can leave you. How do I put this? It can leave you in a very emotional and vulnerable state. And there are people out there, unfortunately, in this world that will see that, latch on to you, and they will be like a parasite and feed off of that vulnerability, that chaos, that emotional trauma that you have. They're like vampires in a way, like leeches in a way, where they'll constantly feed off of you because they know that you're in a certain state and that they can take advantage of that. Now, can you understand how she got herself into the situations that she's gotten herself into? Can you understand how she got into working the telly life as she did? Can you understand how Sagittariusshawty is because of these past experiences? If you watched my video on Sagittariusshawty before this, you can get that understanding, because all in all, she didn't choose this life. This life was typically, or should I say practically, chosen for her. It's because she was vulnerable. Some guy or guys took advantage of that, and one thing led to another.
She would always be going to bed early, and like I don't even know what was going on. Then one night, apparently, she was taken to the hospital by my dad, and I was in my room, and I thought it was just like a normal thing.
That's very sad.
And I was visiting her in there, and she was there for quite a bit, and I was visiting her. Like I would go in there, I would sit by her side, and like we would talk. I would take pictures with her that I wish I still had now. And then my dad came home one time, and like I was left alone a lot because my dad, like my mom and dad were like first loves, like together, like literal soulmates. Like they were each other's soulmates. Like they were.
That's cute.
just like old-fashioned kind of love, like, you know, like they met in college, they fell in love, they moved in together, they had 2 kids, you know. Anyway, so my dad came home one day, and I had made a mess in the kitchen, and it was literally just crumbs on the counter. And he started freaking out on me, like going crazy. And I ended up calling my friend, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, but like my dad's really upset right now, and it's just because of crumbs on the counter. Like, I don't know if he's just like overreacting because he's in a bad mood. Like, I don't know what's going on. And then I heard my dad break down and cry.
Wow. That must have been hard for her
saying, like,
and him.
how I'm just like so messy and I need to learn how to clean up after myself, but like I've never heard him cry.
Oh boy.
And, like,
I'm gonna leave it here because I don't want to take away from her story. This is her lived experience. This is her trauma. This is her life. So what I will do is I won't get more into this traumatic event for her. What I will say is I'll rather let her speak for herself. So please go to her channel. The link will be in the comments pinned as well as the description of this video so that she can speak her story for herself and you can hear her story and you can reflect on how difficult and traumatic and emotional her life has been. Plus, that's not all it. She was also loved by her mother. She was wanted, cared for by both her parents. They love her. So that's also part of the story. So once again, I will leave it as that. You check out and she will continue into the story. Please watch her video. Watch in earnest, listen, and maybe you will change, maybe you will reflect, maybe she will change how you view her. You never know. All I can say is there has been a lot of things that she has done in the past that aren't right, but at this time she is trying to make amends. So what I can say is to all of that, at least hear her out, hear her story, understand why she is the way that she is, and then at the end of all that, make your decision, formulate your opinion about her, and that's it. Anyways, that's it for me. Please leave me a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment about this situation, either how I handled the story, either a comment on Sagittariusshawty's life and lived experiences or anything else. Anyways, that's it for me. Goodbye.